Alright guys, today we are going to do our final princess, my greatest masterpiece. I'm going to be using Candy Cover Sheer White, Barbie from Nails Belle, or it's a pink, it's a nice shimmery pink. I'm going to be using Vanilla Blue Sky from SM Nail Candy, Teal from Nails Belle, and Two-Tone Hidden Berry from SM Nail Candy. It's a white with a little shimmer of blue. One of the few that I am not using Black Mamba on, or Candy Apple Red, but she doesn't call for it, so. You'll see that I'm using a form on the middle finger. I'm doing something a little different there, which you'll see here in a minute, that I can't really use a tip for, so. These are just some of the different things I'm going to be using. I'm using the colored cellophane foils because they give it a really nice ice effect when it's under clear acrylic. My loose snow glitter, and my giant snowflakes. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump ahead. I'm going to be doing 3-color ombre on this index finger using the Two-Tone Hidden Berry, Barbie, and Vanilla Blue Sky.
Duck, duck, goose found a pussy in a dollar bin. Guess you forgot your galana bin. Can't get loose, get your guts, got your tongue again. Rope burn on your hand, are you numb yet? I can go, I can get that attention. Late at night, I can deal with it.
Now let's go ahead and move on to the pinky. I'm using the teal from Nails Belle, and I'm going to be using the Vanilla Blue Sky as well. This is going to be the back of her dress. I'm just doing a simple ombre on this one. Nothing super complicated. What I'm going to be adding over it is super complicated. I guess not super complicated, but it looks that way, so. Alright, now that we're finished with that, we are going to go ahead and move on to this form, which I've already laid down a base layer of clear acrylic. I didn't go down very far because I want what I'm doing here to be free hanging off the end of it. I'm going to be sculpting some icicles, and there's not going to be anything underneath them, so they're just going to be free hanging off the edge, the points. So I'm using the two-tone hidden berry because it's a really nice sparkly white. And then I'm going to take the vanilla blue sky and the Barbie to give a little bit of background to the ice, almost like a dusky effect. And this is the first time I've ever done this. So basically you're doing the same thing you would color blocking, except that you're leaving negative space and you're not filling it with anything. Like I said, there's that little bit of clear, but I actually built these off of the edge of the clear, so there's nothing underneath it. And again, these aren't meant to be worn, so it really isn't an issue in this case. If you did want to wear something like this, all you would need to do is extend that base layer of clear down a little bit. Now, I'm going to be building a couple of layers on this, 2 or 3. So I'm going to do these 2 icicles on the bottom, different lengths. And I am going to fill in the space between these 2 with the clear and the pink and the blue, just to give myself a foundation for the next layer of icicles that are going to be in the middle and on the side. So, but I'm not going to extend it past that base layer of clear. It's basically just filler at that point. It's not anything structural.
By your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. Now why don't you die for me?
Now, this was a little more difficult for me, just because I'm used to color blocking with exact lines, and the nature of ice is that there are no exact lines. So basically, most of this is done with my brush. I did use my knife just a little bit to give the icicles a better point. And then I used my needle bit, but that was mostly to clear the space in between to give them definition, not so much to define or straighten the edges or anything. Now this is where you're going to see me use my knife a little bit just to carve out that middle space, because I want that clear and pink and blue there to give it some background and some depth. So I cut that center space out a little with a knife, and then I use my needle bit to kind of clear it, and then I'm going to go in and fill it with a thin layer of clear just to make the 2 sides meet, and then just a touch of pink and blue on top of it.
By your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. Now why don't you die for me? Call me the king
Now that I've done that, I am going to give this a little bit of definition, and I am going to go ahead and add some more icicles, some shorter ones for that 3D effect. This one's going to go down the center, and then I'm going to do another even smaller one off to the right. But basically you're doing the same thing here. You're just building up that line and using your brush to kind of give it shape. Making sure that your apex is filled and, you know, full all the way to the cuticle while maintaining that icicle shape. It's actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but you drip medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, even like a echo. And every day, that's a dream.
Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and use my sanding band and clean up this ombre a little bit before I cap it in clear, just because it got a little carried away, it got a little bulby on the sides, and I don't want to cap that because I'm just going to file it off. So I'm just cleaning up around the cuticles and on the sides with my sanding band and my file. What I'm doing here is I'm using acetone and a brush to kind of clean up in between the icicles where I used my needle bit to get rid of any like residue or dust basically, and to smooth it out. But I don't want to rub it with a wipe, so I just used my brush and dipped it in acetone. Alright, now I'm going to add my snow to this. I'm throwing down a really thin layer of clear, and I'm going to stick my big snowflake glitter and that loose snow glitter that I showed you at the beginning. I'm going to lay that down as a background on this clear acrylic. I'm just doing a thin layer to give it something to stick to. Make sure when you're using big glitter like this that you really press it down into the acrylic, because you're going to encapsulate it too. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using the least amount of space possible with it.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but you drip medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, even like a echo. And every day, that's a dream.
Alright, now that I've got that all encapsulated, as best I can, this one made it a little thicker, I'm going to go ahead back to the index finger. I'm laying down some gem glue. I use this to stick that colored cellophane to, which I'm going to encapsulate in clear, but the colored cellophane underneath the clear acrylic gives it a really cool ice glass effect. And this is just a way to stick it down while I encapsulate it without adding a lot of bulk or changing the color or anything. And I'm going to spot cure it with my UV flashlight.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but you keep medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, you can make me let go. And if I go, that's a dream.
Alright, now we're going to go ahead and do our filing, just smoothing everything out. I'm going to go ahead and do my filing, do my buffing, wipe down with acetone, top coat, and then we're going to do the final piece.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things. Give me that diamond ring. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? I can go, but you keep medication. Late at night, I can deal with everything. Every night, you can make me let go. And if I go, that's a dream.
Alright, now we're going to finish up our top coat and cure it, and then we are going to add the final bit, which in this case is a cape. Again, I'm laying down some Beetles gem glue. I'm going to use that to stick the top of the cape. Only the top though, because I still wanted it to move and act like a real cape. I cut a little piece of lace off of some Barbie clothes and then added that loose snow glitter to the very edge of it with the Beetles gem glue. It actually stuck it right to the cloth. And I think it turned out really well. So it was white lace, and then I had the bluish white glitter at the end, and then you can see the kind of teal poking out from underneath, which looks like your dress. And then I went and took a piece of my wig, which is made out of human hair, and made a braid, which I'm going to stick to this, and I hope it looks like her back as she's walking away. So I used a little bit of super glue to seal the ends after I braided it, and added some gem glue to the back of this just to help it stick down. And then I put a kind of a big blob right on the top of the cape to help hold that first part down. Like you can see, it wasn't sticking very well, so I had to add a little bit more. Well, you will see. I finally gave up and added more.
Stood by your side through all of the lies, watching you cry for me. Get on your knees, apologize please. No, why don't you die for me? Call me the king, ruler of things, give me that diamond.
And now that I've cured that braid on, we'll go ahead and take a look at the final product, guys. I'm actually really happy with the way it came out. I can't think of a better one to end on. Now we're going to go ahead and start our next series, which are the boys' nails, and I have some fun surprises planned. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, comment down below. Thank you.